activist and a Hollywood liberal. This is a political movie. How personal is not just this film for you as a film you've directed and made, but also the roles that you take? And also, do you see Republicans and Democrats responding to this movie very differently?
You know, I don't actually think of this as a political film. I think you could literally put this in Wall Street, or you could put it pretty much anywhere, and it's all the same sort of issues. It's issues of morality. It's issues of whether or not you're willing to trade your soul for an outcome. And I don't really, I never thought of it as a political film. I like some of the things that that these characters had to do, and politics certainly raises the stakes. Many of the films I do are very personal. I spent years in Vegas studying to play Danny Ocean, and honestly, literally years drinking and gambling, and now I've learned. No, you know, these films like this, I've been here with Michael Clayton, I've been here with Good Night and Good Luck, films that I'm very proud to be a part of, and they're very personal. You can't hear me? All right, I'll talk like this. But yes, look, if you're going to spend 4 or 5 years making a film, it's personal in one way or another, so it's personal. I don't know that I think that people will view this film, I have no idea. You know what? This is the first time we've shown it to anybody, so you can let us know, because I really don't know how people will react to it. I'm guessing. The environment, politics are seductive. A lot of very rich people. There are a lot of very rich people. There aren't very many people who end up in places of power. And that becomes a very seductive thing, and it's used all the time. I find it used often. So I think that was a big part of I think it's an interesting question, because it's true. It's a big part of the story. Grant and I were working on a piece about a morality play, a story of the idea, the argument of do the ends justify the means at any point. We were in the middle of doing another piece, and then this play came around, and the play took place with these really extraordinary characters inside a Democratic primary, and we felt that was the stakes get raised very quickly when you do that. So we thought that was a really interesting place to place what we had been working on. So it sort of was it was us taking, Grant and I taking a piece that we were working on, and we found something that matched it and gave us a real home, and we thought that was good. Yeah, well, you know, the current temperature in our country, and I think everybody can relate in different countries, is it's a very difficult time to govern. From whichever side you're on, I think it's a very difficult time to govern, and there's a lot of cynicism going on. It's temporary, it always is. We fix things. We will fix them again. I'm an optimist. But right now it's a very difficult time to govern, and cynicism seems to be winning over idealism right now. I think it'll change. I hope it'll change soon.
And the poster itself, you know, who's the better looking guy?
I think we know the answer to that one. And it is good that Ryan is coming out, I think, finally. Thank God.
About time.
It was time.
I mean, I knew. I always knew.
So you're right. Thank you for pointing that out. The funny thing is, jokes don't play when you write it, and then Ryan will have to deal with that. Financing the film was interesting because originally this was at a different studio. You know, we shot the movie for $12 million, so it's not like it's a big film. And so Grant and I had to do a lot of sitting in a room with 10 foreign investors and pitch the movie and why it's not just a story of politics. And we did that for a day at the event, and we raised enough money to make the film. And so the cast made a huge difference in that, because the story seemed to polarize certainly an international audience, and the idea that if you're just making a film about delegate counts in a Democratic primary, that's not going to be very interesting. So the cast made a huge difference in that. I enjoyed directing myself. I thought you were really good in that take, George. Thank you. I enjoyed directing. It's a very fun thing. It's a fun thing to do. I'm on a stage with people who've done it as well, and I think they would all agree that there's something very creative, a little more, feels very creative being able to be a director. But look, it's awfully easy when you have people like this. You know, I can promise you it's a lot easier when you have really wonderful actors. So it was a great experience. I like it a lot. I'm not going to advise Dominique Strauss-Kahn on anything. Every country sort of relates to some sex scandal they have in their own country, so my job is not to advise anyone to watch. But yeah, no, we found ourselves, as we start to show this around internationally, that every country has some form of a sex scandal that they can relate to, and it seems to be a very universal theme. But I'm not going to be advising anyone. I don't think I should be advising anyone. Ever. The idea of making compromises as a director as opposed to a politician. The compromises you have to make as a director, as an actor, aren't life-changing for many people. I don't make decisions that could matter in life or death. Yes, there's plenty of, every single day is a compromise. It's a compromise with whether you're going to shoot it with clouds or not. It's a compromise whether you want to change dialogue. It's a compromise whether you can get the right amount of money to shoot a scene. There must be 1,000 compromises a day that you have to make. But I don't have to make decisions and compromises that can affect people's lives actually. It's still playground, it's still play. And I'm perfectly comfortable not having to be the guy that, if I make a mistake, costs a couple 100,000 people their lives, which happens, And so I don't have any interest in being that guy. I have very much interest in telling stories. Stories don't hurt people. They can just be badly reviewed sometimes.